talent is not always enough. You have to stick with it because, like Vince Lombardi says, winners never quit and quitters never win.
I can't look back, it's too late now. My days are hours and I don't know how. But I believe the great is still yet to come. I won't stop fighting, man, until I'm done.
Good morning. Welcome to the 25th Breakfast Ball. Remember, guys, if you get something out of this podcast, when you're rich and famous, we get 10%. But shout out, by the way, you know where I was last night? I was actually at the Diamond Nation, which is a huge baseball tournament in high school baseball. And my son Cooper plays for Cherry Hill West. And as somebody said, for the first time in like 40 years, they won Diamond Nation last night. They beat Delsea. So shout out to my boy and his team. I love it. And actually, a couple of kids on the team played for me before. So it was pretty damn cool, to be honest with you.
You know where I was last night?
I was sleeping.
I was at home packing my house till like 2 or 3 in the morning, Bob. I am exhausted.
Yes, yeah.
Guys, if I fall asleep during this podcast, I apologize.
Well, I had a better night there. Also, Toby. So remember, if you put in the comments, the first one to put in the comments, I love the breakfast ball, you get a Starbucks gift card. And Toby, this past week, you mailed that out, right, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good, because I stamped it and addressed it for you. Okay. All right, good. All right, so anyway, intros. All right. I'm Bob Cardia, your host. To my far left, your far right, the dashing Richie Stoltz. And in the center, it is our pleasure to have the newly minted 2024 Carl Arena champion, Luke Canino. Exactly. Just so you know, folks, like if anybody's watching this nationally, internationally, the Carl Arena is the largest high school tournament east of the Mississippi River, and it's got hundreds of kids that play in it. It's a big deal around here. I mean, a lot of people think of it more than even the States and whatnot. So the fact that Luke won that, let's go, brother.
Thank you.
I know.
I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah. Well, how long have you and I been doing this? We've been doing this for what?
Almost 4.
Yeah, at least four, I think.
3.
Yeah. I remember Luke when he was just this little kid that came in, and he used to, come and hit golf balls. And you would hit his driver 130 yards, and we'd be like, someday, man, when you get bigger, this is going to work for you. and it's great. So I actually always start with a quote, so as you people know. It's the attitude at the beginning of a difficult situation, which more than anything else determines or will affect the success or the outcome. I love that because prior to the show today, we were talking about attitude and people, and we have a couple. I mean, we have one of our other players just came second team all conference. Another one of our players is shooting his lowest golf ever, and I always say I can tell within 30 seconds to 3 minutes whether someone has an aptitude for the sport. And I knew Luke did right away, but like I say about my oldest son, who I love dearly, talent is not always enough. You have to stick with it because, like Vince Lombardi says, winners never quit and quitters never win. So with that said, we're going to let Luke, speak here. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Tell us about your day. So I'd love to hear about, the intricacies of the round at Carl Arena.
Well, I mean, I showed up. Obviously, I always in the winning mindset, trying to do best I can. But I showed up, it was like 6. We got there first because our coaches, we just get there usually earliest. I was on the range, I was hitting some balls, and honestly, I wasn't really happy with what I was hitting. I wasn't hitting great shots. But I knew if I just played, I wasn't trying to change anything, just play the shots I was hitting, that I think I would do okay. And I started going on. I think I bogeyed my second hole, and I didn't really get discouraged from it. I just kept going, and I just ended up starting birdieing holes, and it just all kind of started to fall in place.
Isn't it crazy how it works that way? I remember when we were sectionals or what the heck we were in, but it was at my home golf course that I worked at. And I was on the range, and I was hitting the ball. I was striping the ball. I was like, this is going to be my day. And I went to the golf course, and I steeled at first tee, and it just wasn't there. And then there was days where I'm on the range hitting the ball, it's not really there today. And then something, you grind it out, next thing you know, you're playing good golf. So, who knows, man? That's the whole reason, I think, for staying in the present. keeping your focus just on shot by shot, hole by hole. We were having a lively debate. Richie and I were continuing our conversation from last week.
It was crazy because Luke agrees with me.
He does not agree with you. Luke does not agree with you.
I agree on some parts.
Oh,
Not all.
Luke's going to be a politician because before the show started,
No,
he said,
no.
"You know what? I don't really agree."
But no, when he did it, I don't agree.
There you go. That's I'll never go to the dark side. Like looking at moving targets is never the way to go. Bob Rotella, and you've read his books and you like the man, right? Okay, yeah. It's basically stay in the present. Be about what you can control, because the physiological response for 99% of the people, not Richie, just 99% of the people, is when you see something that triggers something in your head, it releases certain chemicals in your brain. And that affects the way your current state. Now, yeah, are there some people, like the Zacks of the world, that like when they get pissed off, they actually start to play better? Yeah, I mean, there's exceptions to every rule. But like my 7th grade English teacher said to me, even a stop clock's right twice a day. That doesn't make it right. I'm just saying.
I would love to debate you more on this. But
I know.
We're gonna
Let's
save
get
that
back to
con-
Luke
we're
though.
gonna
We
save
got the
that
handsome Luke
conversation for
Canino here,
another day.
man.
I know.
We got the handsome.
I know.
Luke
That's
Canino.
why I'm not. That's why I'm not saying anything.
That you're tired.
Plus, I'm tired.
Yes, I know. Yeah. So, just as a picture, there's probably, I don't know, over the past 4 to 6 years, guys like Luke who have come to my program and who worked on their games and whatnot. And it's funny. I have what I call the fair weather golfers. There's several of them that I see, March 1st through August 31st, right? That's the only time I ever see them. And then, like, right before the season starts, they call up and say, "No, Coach, I need to get in and work on my game." Yeah, you know what? The Lukes and the Gabes and the Richies of the world, the guys that, like, I mean, how many crappy days have you and I sitting out there with snow blowing into the stalls and there's rain blowing in the stalls, and we're hitting golf balls, and literally there's mornings where you and I are the only people there, right? And like that, you get rewarded in public for what you do in private. Luke plays a boatload of golf at the golf course. He was coming in every week for years, and guess what? How do you feel about that? Do you feel that gave you an advantage over everybody else?
Yeah, 100%. And there's always something that I still remember you say is the one girl in college that practices no matter what because someone else in a different state is like somewhere in Texas they're practicing every day.
I love when people remember shit that I say. I love it.
I always think about that every time I play in crappy weather.
Yes.
There's someone else in a different state playing right now.
So that story, that the only national championship that Rutgers has ever had on any campus, and I think we've been the golf team. We've been to 9 national championships. I think, top 15 or so. But the Rutgers softball. Okay, Carl Taylor, coaches Rutgers softball team, canceled practice one day, right? And he was going out to the batting cages, and he sort of batting cages. The pitching machine was on, and he's like, "What the heck?" And he walks out there, and it's his All-American is in the batting cages, in the freaking pouring rain, swinging. And Carl was like, "What are you doing here?" And she's soaking wet with a bat in her hand, and said, "You know what? There's some girl out there in Nebraska who's working her butt off right now, and I'm not going to be at work by then." I love that story, right? Because that's the way we succeed, folks. There's plenty of times, and we're going to talk about this in a second too. We had actually a quote earlier on we do shorts before the show. But if you knew you couldn't fail, how many things would you try?
Mm.
And it's so true. But with that said, you're going to fail your way to success. The Lukes of the world are special people, because you keep working, right, and you keep listening and you keep doing, and good things are going to happen. There's another, like a Chuck Norris quote. He said, you know how many people stop right before the last step? Because you don't know what the last step is before success. Like, this is the first big thing you've ever won, right? Yeah. But you didn't know that. Like, when you woke up in the morning, you didn't know you were going to win that. But Luke played in the leagues at his golf course. He's taken a boatload of lessons, and we've talked about strategy and whatnot. But you had no idea. No. But now you're there, right? So, now you're the king of the hill.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, with that said, so what do please give me more pearls of wisdom of things that I've said, because I'm getting a kick out of that.
I don't know. I've always, there's another thing I've always heard I think is so true, and it's like, if I like work as hard as I possibly can, like, you can't fail. Like, in the end, you'll win, but you will go through a ton of failure, and that will always happen.
Yeah. Well, we and I talk about Tiger. And people, I forget what he went, like 9, 10 tournaments one year or something. I can't remember the number, but people are like, oh man, that's just insanely. He said, oh, he's best. Yeah, they pay like 50 of that, don't they? Like, so if you win 20% of the time in golf, man, you are the best. It's worse than baseball. 1 out of 3, right? I know. I get that. And then, like, when, of course I read a lot, but the Hogan quote I always go back to in the book I always refer to, The 5 Lessons, The Modern Fundamentals of Golf. Hogan said in the beginning of the book that he felt like he only hit 1 or 2 perfect shots around. Now, when you read stories about Hogan, not always the most talkative, pleasant man. The Toski story. Actually, Bob Toski, we're looking over on the wall. The original golf academy that my family helped found. Bob Toski, who was in the Hall of Fame and the senior editor for Golf Digest, I believe senior editor, but he came out to promote his new line of golf clubs, and he told me a Ben Hogan story, which I thought was pretty damn funny. So Hogan's first time ever playing, Toski's first time ever playing with Hogan, he was nervous. He's swinging it, and he's just sitting there thinking like something like I would do. He said, "What do I say to this guy? Because this guy's a legend, right?" So he works up the courage, walks over to him on the tee, and says, "Mr. Hogan, what would you consider to be the most important shot in golf?" And Hogan just looks up with his Ben Hogan head. The next one. Looks back down again. That's all he said for 4 hours. That's all he said. So, but if you look at it that way, you can say, well, man, Hogan was being a jerk. Or you can say, wow, that is so flippin' true. Yeah, that's the only thing that matters is the next shot or the next step in life. Anything. Like, Luke's perfect. I mean, what do you got, 17?
Yeah.
17. Like, I mean, that's the attitude that you want. It's you are going to fail your way to success. And it's kind of what we talked a little bit with you last week, right? Dashing Richie still. It's like Richie is so close. You missed open qualifying last week by 2, 3, something like that.
4.
Yeah.
Missed by 4.
That's all right.
Yeah.
But like we know, I mean, like you played well enough that you actually believe you were right thinking there.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time before it happens.
Yeah.
I mean that's how you do things too, right? Basically.
Oh yeah, I'm very close. I mean, I played against the guy that played on the Corn Ferry Tour, and I beat him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Well,
like I can get there. Like it's all good. I just played not my best.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of golf. You've seen it.
Yeah.
You've seen it. I've seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Sorry, Bob. You probably haven't seen
I
it.
usually play.
I forgot. You've never hit a bunker. You
That's
haven't
it.
hit a bunker since what?
In 19.
God.
It's one of the kids in our group's like, Coach, he's like, how do you hit a bunker shot? And I'm like, I don't know. I've never been in one.
Oh my.
I'm kidding, folks. All right, but again, target. Okay, so Rich and I have fun with this, and actually, I think you and I have done this too. So there's a 47-yard post at the driving range. We all know where that post is. The orange and white post out in front. So when Richie and I have time, and I think you and I have done this too, is we try to hit the post. And back in the day, we had a 100-yard sign at the other golf academy. So after dark, we play horse. Everybody played horse, I think, at one time or another. But so what would happen is if Richie said, 200-yard sign or 150-yard sign, you hit it, and if you get really, really close to it, then the other guys have to also do that. So, people say to me, Coach, hey, hit the 100-yard sign. And my answer would always be, would you like me to hit the 1, the 0, or the 0, right? Now, again, that's me being a pain in the ass because that's in my innate nature. But the truth is, like, the more specific your target, right, the more specific your goal, the more likely you are to achieve it. Like, you can't just have general goals. So going into the tournament, or going into the season, because I don't think that's fair. Going into the tournament, did you have a goal written out, or you just kind of like you were just,
I had a goal of hitting as many greens as possible because before going up to that tournament, I was putting pretty well, and I knew. I mean, I thought about something too. Is like if I hit every green, I have 18 chances to make a couple of those birdie putts, and it's like that's what I kind of walked in going to it, and I started hitting greens, and That's what
Yeah.
it started coming down to.
That's I
The
I
one
love it.
the one kid who won the Carl Arena, Grant Gardner. I think
Yeah.
you might have
Mhm.
known who he was.
Yeah.
He was a little bit older than me.
Did you go to Methodist also?
Yeah, he did. I
Yeah.
played with him.
Mhm.
Him and Liam
remember.
Mulligan.
Yeah, they Liam
Yeah,
from
I
Eustis.
played, yeah. But Grant hit 17 greens in the Carl Arena and
Mhm.
shot 1 under.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
he said his goal was just hit as many greens as
Yeah.
possible. If he hits 18 greens, you know, he's going to have looks on every single hole. Something's going to drop at some
Exactly.
point. And sure enough, that day he had 1 drop and 1 was good enough. And he won,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Well, we've discussed this before. The number one scoring stat on every tour is greens in regulation.
Yeah.
So whoever is putting for birdie the most typically is going to have the lowest score.
Mhm.
But then you look at you take that and then you look at the average avid golfer, and they define an avid golfer as somebody who plays once a week. He hits a little over 1 green out of the 18 tries. So if you're hitting 17 greens, I thought with PGA Tour stats like 15 greens or something like
I
that.
think it's 15, 14.
Well,
Something
yeah,
like that.
right, yeah. So if you're ever wondering why the average golfer can't break 100, he hits 1 green. Anyway, so now we're talking about your future because you're a junior this year,
Yeah.
right? So please, what is the future of the handsome Lou Canino?
I don't know. I feel like I've only like started what I've been doing. You know, I've been in school. This summer, I'm gonna work as hard as I possibly can, and
Because now you see what's available.
yeah,
now. Like, you see
it's-
what we're capable of.
exactly. So it's only like the start, and I feel like if I work as hard, maybe I want to try and go pro, and that's still skipping a step. I want to get to college
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
I want to try and play in Division I golf, but
Yeah.
I mean, any competitive golf, I think, doesn't matter what it is, I'll try my best in. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that you won the arena, I'm sure if anybody's watching out there, hey, I'd love for Luke to come play for us, but like it is. I'm imagining you want to go further south.
yeah,
So, that's funny because we had ladies' night last night at Big Swing, and what do we have, like 20 ladies
Yeah,
or something like that?
I think 20.
Yeah, one of the ladies had a Wake Forest golf bag,
Mhm.
and I'm like, oh wow, Wake Forest. And like Arnold Palmer went there, like Hale Irwin went there, and she's like, yeah, I'm not that good. I'm like, I think she stole the bag from somebody. That's what she said. But I remember the number one player for New Jersey, and again, this is when I was younger, so like 18, 12. He applied to Wake Forest, and he got a form letter back. This guy he won the states in New Jersey, right? He got a form letter back, like one paragraph letter saying, if you don't go to a school that can play golf 12 months a year, we don't really recruit from the north part of the country.
Mhm.
I was like, wow, okay, so, but once you win a tournament like the Carl Arena, like things will open up for you a little bit, and we'll start putting you out there and hopefully, if you're watching, guys, Luke's looking to play college golf, just saying. But anyway, have you done tours of any schools yet or no?
no, not yet. This summer I definitely will,
Okay.
but
Mhm.
no, I have to get started. I'm a little late on it.
That's you know what? It's life.
Yeah,
My son's a senior also. His team just won the Diamond Nation. Ask him what he's doing. I'm not quite sure what he wants to do either. But that's okay. We still love them both. Trust me. So we don't know what our future plans are. We want to play Division I professional golf, and I think it's admirable. I think that's. I always said to my oldest son, he didn't know what he wanted to do either. So, get the degree, and then you can always, pursue your dreams at that point because you're still so damn young.
yeah,
Although one of my favorite musicians, Ray Wiley Hubbard, somebody once asked him, how come you have this commitment to your music? Right? He said, well, never learn how to do anything else. He said, yeah. When someone tells you to go to college, he's like, don't do that. He said, just all I had to do is play music. That's all I had to do. No, I'm not recommending that for you. I'm just Ray Wiley. Anyway, so Richie, any pearls of wisdom or any for our young guest here?
I do want to throw this out there, and super simple, but you just kind of pointed to it like you jump straight to like, I want to play professional golf.
I mean,
I love that.
yeah,
I love that.
LeBron James here.
Obviously stepping stones,
yeah,
but like for an overall goal, like I always believe you can't dream too big.
yeah,
So, and you're gonna have people tell you that you are. You ignore them. You ignore them. You say, hey, listen, if you think so, well, you'll be watching me one day. You'll be on your couch. I'll be on the big screen. But always dream big, because if you don't, then you're gonna hit your small dreams, and who really likes hitting small dreams.
Yeah.
It feels good in the moment, but it's not what you really want. So dream big. You know, you said you want to play professional, possibly. You know, if that's the goal, like, man, go for it.
Appreciate
You know,
it.
go for
Thanks.
it.
Yeah, the short from last week, we had a short from last week, which I flipping love. It basically, it says, for everybody who doesn't believe in you, right? All the people say you can't do this, you can't do that. I want those people to say, boy, I remember the day I met that guy,
Mhm.
right? It's like, look,
Yeah.
I mean, look, like right now, I mean, when he's 10, 11 years old, and I keep telling this, by the way, Knicks play again tonight, so let's go. But, you know, when I was coaching Colton, and you know, this kid moves into town, and he's on my baseball team, on my basketball team, and you know, if you told me this guy was going to be an NBA All-Star and, you know, best player in the Knicks, I would, yeah. Jalen Brunson was on my son's you know, basketball team. I coached him for a season. Like it just shows you anybody can get to where, you know, they need to be. Like I mean, he was very good back then, but like I didn't say, hey, he's going to be an NBA, you know, All-Star at that point. Like if you believe in what you can do, and you can believe in and have that drive, you know, yeah. A lot of people say you can do anything. I don't know if you can do anything. Like I doubt I'm going to get much taller, but you know, but you know, maybe I could stretch. Who knows? I don't know. But you know, for people that have talent, have the drive, have the determination, I think the sky's the limit. Like Richie said, you don't stop believing, man. It would do me a lot of good when I'm sitting in my rocking chair, you know, 20 years from now.
Getting your 10%.
Get my 10%.
Yeah.
Get my 10%.
I will never
Watch
forget
it.
that. Don't worry.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I need that. Thank you. Lord knows I need that. Yes. You know, watching, you know, Luke beat up on, you know, the Scotty Shufflers of the world. You know, that would be great. I mean, I'd take enormous sense of pride in everything you've accomplished, because I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
But I'm very proud of both of you, because, you know, we all think of things in a similar fashion. But anyway, yes, guys, remember, this is Luke Canino's debut on our podcast. So you're going to sit back here on May 17th of 2024 and say, I remember the first time I saw Luke Canino. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to come on here too.
No,
man.
Thanks for coming.
You love it. Yeah, we absolutely love it. So we're looking forward to great things. You got any more tournaments coming up?
Yeah, I have like a tournament like every Saturday. I'm trying to do the AGGA qualifiers,
Yeah, okay.
but a lot of Philly tournaments.
Okay.
And I don't know. I think Gap tournaments too.
Okay.
But I'm just
Yeah, well,
getting the tournament.
Yeah. Just we'll keep us updated on that for sure. Richie, what else you got coming in? Anything coming up tournament wise?
No, not me.
I
Not
got
me,
some.
yeah.
What's that?
I got some.
Here,
I think. Listen, you guys don't understand. He is. I don't know how you believed it. I mean, like, dude, I hit a 7-iron like 80 to 100 yards. I don't know how I walked in, and you're like, oh wow, like you just like you always stuck with me.
Yeah.
Always believed, and like the amount of knowledge you know, I think is unreal. With all you read, I mean, I don't know how anyone else can beat you in this. Like,
Oh,
it's
God,
crazy.
It's
seriously
I love
crazy.
it. Thank you. That means a lot. It does. I mean, because spending your whole life doing, you know, basically one thing. So someone to say that you're actually doing something good. I God bless you, man. I love it.
Thank you, but nah, he's the best in the world. I think.
All right. Well, you know what? Then I got just one thing left to say for all of us. World domination. Actually, you know what? I'm lying. Let's say one more thing. So we've talked about this, and this might be something you're interested in at some point too. We're talking about putting together a group at some point, and it's probably a little bit down the road for you. We call it Team Domination, where we're going to take the 3 or 4 best players that are in our inner sanctum and try to promote them towards professional golf. Whether that be, like for Richie, for example, we do fundraisers and whatnot to see if we can raise enough money to get them on at least the Corn Ferry Tour or something like that. So, but that's Team Domination, maybe down the road, but like you made me think of that, which is, you know, and we're including you in that group. So aspiring young talent.
Guys, and another thing, him giving me all the opportunities. He just gave me another one there. I mean, you gave me so many opportunities to try and learn it from
You deserve
everything.
it, brother. You deserve it. Good thing. I mean, the guy you're seeing sit next to me is like, he's a genuinely good guy. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen you get really mad at anything. Like me. Like we never, you know,
Yeah.
we just go with it. We roll with it, and you overcome. Yeah. Well, anyway, God bless you. If you like what we're doing, by the way, subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe to you.
We'll do. I
Any
definitely
friend
will.
you have, like all the girls, just tell them to subscribe. Now they find out that you're on there, the girls are probably gonna blow up the internet. Our merchandise shop is open every other week, so if you want to get breakfast ball merch, I saw another guy wearing a breakfast ball shirt the other day, so that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, I'm your host Bob Cartier. To your far left,
The dashing Richie Stoltz.
and the newly minted 2024 Call Arena champion.
Luke Canino.
Let's go. Have a great day, guys. Bye bye.
Glass of bourbon, ha ha. My bourbon, ha ha. My bourbon, ha ha. Alcohol. Because no great story ever started with, I'll have a salad.